welcome back, Mom and Sis English. Okay, we are in lesson 2 today. So what we're gonna learn? Today we're gonna learn about daily routine. So what is the daily routine? Daily routine is the things that you do on a regular basis. For example, you wake up, you go to school, right? So the things that you do normally, right? So we're gonna talk about it in English. Are you guys ready? Okay, let's go. So usually when you talk about daily routine, we usually go by times, right? 자, 맨날 하는 거기 때문에요. 시간에 따라서 보통 얘기를 해요. So we tell, our daily routine by the times, right? So, so before we study, let's look at the important vocabulary, right? So in this lesson, I'm going to ask a lot of questions before and after. So I want you to know what before means and after means. Before means the previous, right? 전에라는 의미죠. After means 후에라는 얘기예요. For example, what do you do after school? 자, 이렇게 물어보면 학교 방과 후에 뭐예요? 라는 뜻이겠죠. What do you do before school, right? What do you do before you ready to school, right? 학교 가기 전에 뭐예요, right? Yeah, okay, so let's go through some vocabularies, right? So I'm going to introduce the activities you do in the morning. Okay, so in the morning, of course, we wake up or get up, right? They're the same vocabulary. So let's repeat after me. I wake up. Very good. I get up. Very good. What is the next things you do? Of course, wash up, right? So let's say I wash up. I wash up, right? Okay, so what's included washing up? Of course, this one, I brush my teeth. Let's say brush my teeth. Brush my teeth. Very good. And wash my face. Let's say wash my face. Wash my face. And then what do you do next? Of course, I get dressed up. I get dressed. Let's say one more time. I get dressed. 맞아요. 옷을 입는 거는 also we can say I put on clothes. Can you say I put on clothes? Very good. And then, after you washing up, what do you do next? Of course, you gotta eat. 먹어야겠죠. Okay, so let's say I have breakfast. Let's say one more time. I have breakfast. Very good. And then we also 점심이죠. lunch. lunch. 저녁은요. dinner. dinner. 자, 그래서 아침을 먹는다고 할 때요. You don't have to say eat. eat이라고 해도 되지만 그냥 have라고 해도 it's the same meaning. 똑같은 뜻이 돼요. Okay, so let's practice one more time. I have breakfast. I have breakfast. I have lunch. I have lunch. I have dinner. I have dinner. Of course, in the morning, you gotta have the breakfast, right? Okay, so after breakfast, what do students usually do? Of course, they go to school, right? So, yeah, so let's say I go to school. I go to school. So if I ask you, what time do you go to school? You can answer, I go to school at 8 o'clock. I go to school at 9 o'clock, right? So you can answer at plus time, right? Okay, and then what do you do if you go to school? Of course, I take classes. 수업을 듣죠. Okay, let's repeat after me. I take classes. I take classes. Very good, right? And then, sometimes after school, you play with your friends, right? Yeah, that's what kids do, right? So let's say, I play with my friends. I play with my friends. Very good. And what time do you finish school, right? So you gotta finish school to come back home, right? So 끝나다 마치다는요, finish. finish 라고 해요. Okay, so let's say I finish school at 2. I finish school at 2. Very good, right? And then after school, of course, after you finish school, you come back home, right? So let's say I come home. I come home. Or same meaning, I get home. I get home. So if I ask you, what time do you usually get home? You can say, I usually get home at 3 o'clock. I usually get home at 3 o'clock. Same meaning, I usually come home at 3 o'clock. I usually come home at 3 o'clock. Okay, and then student, what do you usually do after you come back home? Yeah, as a student, you gotta do your homework, right? 자, 숙제해야겠죠? 자, 숙제를 하다라는 표현이에요. I do my homework. I do my homework. So if I ask you when is the same question as what time, right? When, 언제? When do you usually do your homework? And you can say, I usually do my homework after school. 그쵸? 방과 후에 집에 와서 하시죠? I usually do my homework after school. Okay, so that's the I do my homework. And then, because after a day, you want to clean up, right? So we usually say 샤워하다, take a shower. Let's repeat after me. I take a shower. I take a shower. Or if you want to thoroughly clean up, you can say I take a bath. I take a bath. Very good. And then, of course, wrap up the day after dinner, right? So I go to sleep. I go to sleep. Or you can say I go to bed. I go to bed. Right? So that is all about daily routine, right? Okay, so and then daily routine is things happening almost every day. 거의 매일 일어나는 일을 daily routinei라고 하죠. So usually we add some adverb. 보통 부사를 첨가시켜요. So if you look at the screen, there's always means almost every day, always, right? Usually means 보통. So for example, 나는 보통 8시에 아침밥 먹어? How do you say? I usually have breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning. I usually have breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning. 나는 가끔씩 친구랑 오후에 놀아. 그쵸? 매일 안 놀죠? You don't play every day, right? 자, 가끔씩 놀아 그러면 I sometimes play with my friends after school. I sometimes play with my friends after school. Right? 자, 나는 종종 TV를 봐요, 오후에. Like 4 days a week or 5 days a week, you like to watch TV. And you can say, I often watch TV in the evening. I often watch TV in the evening. 자, 이렇게 쓸 수 있고요. 자, grammatically, 자, 문법적으로 I want you to remember, 기억하세요. 이런 자, 부사들은요, adverb는요, 보통 일반 동사 앞에 와요. 그래서 제가 그랬죠. I always watch TV or I often watch TV in the evening. 자, watch라는 게 일반 동사이기 때문에 그 앞에 you gotta put it in front of the watch, right? 자, 그렇게 위치해 준 거예요. Very good. And then let's put it in together into practice by questioning. 자, 지금은 questioning 연습할게요. Let's practice questioning, alright? So you want to ask your friend about their daily routine. So let's go by practicing what time, okay? What time do you wake up in the morning? What time do you wake up in the morning? I wake up at 8 o'clock. I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. What time do you go to school? What time do you go to school? I go to school at 8:30. I go to school at 8:30. What time do you have lunch? What time do you have lunch? I have lunch at 12 o'clock. I have lunch at noon. 12 o'clock, noon 똑같은 단어죠. 그쵸? 12시예요. What time do you finish school? What time do you finish school? I finish school at 1:30. I finish school at 1:30. What time do you come home? What time do you come home? I always come home at 3 o'clock. I always come home at 3 o'clock. 자, 한국에서는요, in Korea, a lot of kids are going to academy. 학원을 많이 다녀요, right? So 그래서 we can add one more question. What time do you usually go to academy? What time do you usually go to academy? Or you can say, what time do you usually study at academy? What time do you usually study at academy? Right? Okay, let's go to final question. What time do you go to sleep? What time do you go to sleep? Or what time do you go to bed? What time do you go to bed? I go to sleep at 9 o'clock. I go to sleep at 9 o'clock. Thank you so much for watching the lesson 2 today. So you can check out our natural conversation in a view, the next lesson, and then also I will update you with the new lessons. Bye guys! Bye!